the day love was taken. Maria Collins learned very early that life did not care about promises. She was only 23 when she stood in a hospital corridor that smelled of disinfectant and grief, holding a newborn baby in her arms while the doctor explained, softly, carefully, that her husband would never wake up again. A steel beam. A factory accident. Instant death. Maria did not cry that day. She stared at the tiny face pressed against her chest and whispered, "Your father didn't get to meet you, but I will live for both of us." She named him Ethan. From that moment on, Maria's world became small but fierce. A rented one-room apartment. A second-hand crib. Nights without sleep. Days without rest. She worked wherever someone would pay her. Cleaning offices before sunrise. Washing dishes until midnight. Sewing clothes for neighbors when money ran out. Her hands cracked. Her back bent. Her eyes lost their sparkle. But every night, Ethan waited at the door. "Mommy," he'd shout, barefoot, arms wide. And suddenly, the pain meant nothing. Plowed with rain, a child too kind for a cruel world. Ethan was different from other children. He shared his lunch even when he was hungry. He hugged his mother when she cried, even though she tried to hide it. He apologized when others hurt him. Maria worried sometimes. "This world eats kind boys," she whispered once while watching him sleep. But she couldn't teach him cruelty. She didn't know how. When Ethan turned 7, Maria promised him something special. "I'll save enough," she said, brushing his hair, "to buy you new shoes." Ethan smiled. "It's okay, Mommy. Mine still work." That broke her heart more than hunger ever did. Children crossing the last normal morning. The morning Ethan was kidnapped felt ordinary. That's what haunted Maria most. She packed his lunch, 2 slices of bread, 1 apple cut in half. She fixed the zipper on his backpack using a safety pin. She kissed his forehead twice, because once never felt like enough. "Be brave," she said. "Always." Ethan replied. She watched him walk toward the school gate, turning once to wave. That was the last time she saw her son as a child. Police car like the scream that never left her. School ended at 3:15 p.m. At 3:30, Maria was waiting by the window. At 4 o'clock, her chest tightened. At 4:30, panic arrived. She ran barefoot to the school, heart pounding, breath tearing her lungs. "He didn't come home," she told the teacher. "Maybe he's playing," they said. At 6 p.m., the police arrived. By midnight, flyers were printed. By morning, Maria's voice was gone. She screamed Ethan's name in streets that did not answer. She searched dumpsters, shelters, hospitals. She begged strangers to look at his photo. Some turned away. Some shook their heads. Some whispered, "I'm sorry." Days turned into weeks. Weeks into months. Then came the words that killed her slowly. Presumed deceased. Maria collapsed on the floor, clutching Ethan's shoes, howling like something wounded beyond repair. Candle, a mother who refused to let go. The world moved on. Maria didn't. She kept Ethan's room untouched. Dust settled gently, like it was afraid to disturb his memory. Every year on his birthday, she baked a cake and sang alone. Neighbors told her to accept it. Friends stopped visiting. Hope became painful. But every night, Maria whispered the same words into the darkness. "If you're alive, Mommy is still here." She didn't know that across borders, across fear, across years, a little boy was whispering the same thing back. Ethan learned very quickly that crying did not save you. The men who took him did not care about tears, fear, or childhood. They changed his clothes, cut his hair, and told him a new name he refused to answer to. So he whispered his real one at night. "Ethan. I'm Ethan, my mom is coming." Each night, the words became softer. Not because he stopped believing, but because hope hurts when you carry it alone. Whole the years no one saw. Ethan was moved again and again. Dark vans. Strange cities. Cold rooms. He learned silence. He learned obedience. He learned how to disappear so pain would pass him by. But even in the darkest places, kindness found him once. Her name was Mrs. Alvarez. She worked at an orphan shelter where Ethan was temporarily abandoned after a police raid. She noticed he never spoke, never asked for food, never cried. One night, she placed a blanket around his shoulders and said softly, "You don't have to be brave here." That night, Ethan cried for the first time in years. Mrs. Alvarez taught him letters using scraps of paper. She told him stories before sleep. She told him something no one ever had. "You matter." Those words saved his life. Seedling a boy who turned pain into purpose. Ethan aged out of the system with nothing but scars and determination. He worked. Studied. Slept on floors. Ate little. Learned much. He promised himself one thing. No child would ever feel as lost as he did. Years later, Ethan became a legal advocate for missing children. He founded a small foundation that reopened cold cases, children the world had forgotten. Late one night, while reviewing old files, a photograph stopped his heart. A young woman holding a baby. Her eyes were tired. Her smile was soft. Something inside him broke open. He zoomed in. Read the name. Maria Collins. His breath left him in a sob. My mother. Candle the woman who waited. Maria was 61 now. Her apartment was small. Her hands were fragile. But every night, she still set an extra plate on the table. People called her foolish. She called it love. One afternoon, a knock came at her door. She opened it slowly. A man stood there, tall, nervous, eyes filled with tears. I'm looking for Maria Collins, he said. I am her, she replied. He swallowed hard. My name is Ethan. The world disappeared. Broken heart, the reunion that shook time. Maria stared at him like she was afraid to blink. She stepped forward. Touched his face. Her knees gave out. They collapsed into each other, sobbing like the years had finally caught up. I looked for you every day, she whispered. I never stopped, he cried. Ethan pulled something from his pocket. A rusted safety pin. You fixed my bag with this, he said. I kept it so I wouldn't forget. Maria pressed it to her heart. I knew you'd come home, she said. I just didn't know when. Rainbow, the kindness that came full circle. Ethan used his foundation to name a new shelter after his mother. The Maria Collins Home for Lost Children. On opening day, Maria stood beside him, tears shining. She looked at the children laughing inside and whispered, They're home. Ethan smiled. So are we. Pain can steal years. Red heart kindness can return them. Family woman boy, a mother's love never expires. Even when the world gives up. Love keeps searching.